100 years before the Revolutionary War. The Pueblo Revolt in New Mexico was the most successful Native American revolt and one of the most interesting stories in American history.
Riding out on a... That's what they need to do now. Hey, Indian Rodeo.
So this was all made by AI.
Window Rock Indian Rodeo.
Spanish colonization of New Mexico began in 1598 under Juan de Onate. The colony was established along the Rio Grande corridor, where Pueblo agricultural communities had existed for centuries. The Spanish settlements placed small missions and small settler populations directly within or adjacent to Pueblo towns. The early period of colonization was violent. In 1599, after resistance at Acoma, Pueblo, several Spanish
as they say on the internet.
Onate,
Acoma for you guys that are from the res.
Spanish
but for the rest of us,
Acoma. Hundreds of people would die during this assault.
I like the way he did the animation here because it's pretty accurate of the visuals and the video part of it.
Women and children were enslaved and distributed among Spanish households.
Trying to tailor something that what we're doing similar to what he's doing with this historical aspect. Except we'll be using it for presenting our perspective or the native perspective.
Right.
During the 17th century, Spanish authority in New Mexico
rested on three components:
the governor and the military garrisons in Santa Fe, the Franciscan mission system, and the encomienda-style tribute structure that required Pueblo labor and agricultural
that is
the Spanish population.
That was the king giving away land.
The Maya prophecy is that you'll start paying tribute.
2,000 to 2,500 Spaniards.
That was the king of Spain who came up with that.
They were dispersed in settlements.
No, that came with the Mayans that told us that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be paying the white man when he comes and arrives. That wasn't no Spanish. That was the Mayans thousands of years ago.
Oh, thousands of years ago too. But I was just talking about the economienda y I can't remember. Reconocimiento.
Spanish mines.
Oh, economics and recognition.
Moral conduct and reporting
violations. Indigenizing Hispanic mines.
Naturally, this caused a lot of tension between the friars and the Puebloans.
If you don't go along with the program, we might have to call you a Chicanaho.
Ceremonial chambers referred to the Spanish
you want to be a tribe,
as
you could be a Chicanaho.
Were periodically inspected.
Oh, that's cool.
When suspected of harboring idolatry or witchcraft, they were often destroyed. The public dances that the Puebloans traditionally held were sometimes suppressed.
Jesucristo condena vuestra adoración a Satanás.
Party pooper.
Environmental conditions in the decades before 1680 were unstable.
They're going to give them a flat top.
Crop yields.
Flat top time.
Apache and other nomadic groups conducted raids that targeted both Spanish and Pueblo settlements.
All AI.
Livestock losses and food shortages.
Well, I was trying to explain to you that I'm willing to take those courses, or if you want to take it with me, to take.
So we can turn some of our stuff into something like this.
To present our views with the animation programs that he's using. They don't look fakey. They don't look like Gumby and Pokey,
they're
moving like this.
Were arrested on accusations of practicing sorcery and causing harm and drought through witchcraft.
I mean, even there's a Sandia in the back.
The accused were brought to Santa Fe. Spanish records state that 4 were executed.
If I was there, that'd be me right
now.
Abraham Lincoln signed off on the largest mass hanging in the United States.
That's 39. Why he got shot in the head.
The Dakota 39.
Number 20 comes around and he got shot in the head for it.
Number 26 was White Dog.
And you know why he did it? To appease the white man, because he freed the black man, so somebody had to pay. And guess who paid? Us. And then he paid after that with a bullet in the head.
Comes
around. For the Dakota 39, the 13th person on the list was White Dog, and then the 26th person on the list was Wakantanka.
Didn't they assault our God?
Yeah. So
Junior. Our red God with our white God?
Yeah.
For several years.
Well,
like what's going on here?
Dog is the center of the 260-day calendar, so that's when I figured that might have represented Junior.
Messages between communities. Ropes with knotted cords were distributed.
And then Wakantanka is
instructions to untie one knot each day. When
Wakantanka is the same thing as Zambia
would begin.
Of the Maya.
By 1680, the colony was thinly defended.
or
The military
Thunderbird to
presence
us
was limited.
would be
Reinforcements
the same.
from central New Spain were infrequent.
New
The Spanish
Spain,
population
no.
remained dispersed. And by August of that year, the coordination between multiple Pueblo groups had reached its final stage. The carriers of the rope of time were down to their final knots. On August 10th, the day had arrived. Violence erupted
Ooh, we should go
simultaneously
see
across
what
the
time that
different
is on the
pueblos,
sacred
with the
calendar.
Franciscan friars being targeted for the most
That would be
gruesome
interesting.
murders. At Jimenez, Fray Juan de Jesus
Probably in a Caton
was
camp
taken captive by the rebels,
Mm-hmm.
tied to a
But there is
pig's
something
back,
about the natives
and dragged
arguing
through the
restless
village
and
while
making
the
these guys
Pueblo
ride out on a
mocked.
hog, you know. And,
Yeah. Well, even just looking at the year count on the Aztec calendar and then going from there to find out what day that was.
Forcing the old man to crawl forward. Then they
Oh, it's
killed
really
him
simple.
with the sword to the
It
chest.
was the beginning of the Spaniards becoming a world power
Friar
and us
Serbian's
losing
house
being a
was
world
attacked
power.
inside the mission
Right.
It all
complex.
happened here.
Spanish records
And
state
then
that he was shot with
the
arrows and beaten.
square dance was
3
over.
holy men were slain
By
in
the time
Santo
it was over,
Domingo.
we lost
Their
power
bodies
and
were
they
thrown
gained
next to
power.
the altar,
Then Spain
rotting
became
there
a
for
world
several
power, and
weeks
then
before
we
being
ended
discovered.
up
The priest at
dipped down
Pecos
in
was
the dirt
beaten and
somewhere.
killed publicly.
So now we're coming up on that
The
cycle
mission church
again.
was
And
stripped afterwards.
Except everything's going to be reversed. So I hope they're ready for this
21
one.
of the 33
Everything will
New
become
Mexico
undone,
friars were
basically.
killed that day.
That was
After the clergy
done
were
then,
killed,
will be undone
churches were
in the future.
dismantled deliberately. Images of saints were smashed or
Interesting.
burned.
I think they got
Crosses were
fired.
pulled down. Bells were removed from the
oh, the
towers.
church got fired
In several
here.
locations,
No, the priest
churches
got
were
fired.
burned
Oh.
entirely.
See, they're
Christian
burning.
marriages were repudiated. Baptized individuals were ordered to wash themselves to remove what the rebels considered the effects of baptism.
Is this
Christian
supposed to
names
be
were
the
abandoned,
Pueblo of
and
Acoma?
everyone was encouraged
Yeah.
to go back to the old
So they
ways.
rebuilt it?
Well,
The church? Because I've been to that church,
that's
the
not
big
rebuilding,
one.
That's burning it down.
Well,
totally.
I meant in modern day because we're watching this video about it getting burned, but
Spanish settlers and outlying communities were attacked.
I've been to the Pueblo of
Women and
Acoma, their
children
Sky
were no
City. They have
exception.
that big old church there.
Oh, and they came back, they rebuilt it. You know, they don't give up. They're still up there, not giving up. You know, the only place they didn't give up was in Pueblo.
Oh my
where
God.
we rounded up the conquistadors
Nearly
on our
400
beach,
were killed
and we
that day.
put them in a
Many of
pot,
them
and we
as they
ate
were attempting
all
to
of them.
That was the
As these
We didn't have to
Northwest
deal
Coast.
with this three-knot nonsense and
Governor
coordination.
Antonio
We just
de
went down there,
Oterman
rounded up, and
assembled
ate them
roughly
and called
100
them
armed
salt.
men
Took their ship
inside the
apart,
capital.
took
Spanish
everything that was
families
metal,
gathered inside the
traded
governor's
everything that was
palace,
on their ship with
where
their
they
neighbors,
barricaded
and
themselves
became rich
in,
as hell.
trying to plan
And,
how they were going to
the
escape.
Spaniards
Pueblo forces
ended up
surrounded
dead
the
on our
town.
beach.
Irrigation channels feeding Santa Fe were cut,
gallon.
depriving
Well,
the
there was
town of
2 of them,
water.
you said.
Spanish
Then they sent a
rationed
second
what remained
armada.
in their
Well, they sent the
cisterns.
revenge.
Governor Oterman
Wanted to get
later
revenge, so
reported
they
that
sent a
several
second
assaults were
armada.
repelled.
And my mother's side of the
Official
family
account
ate them at
proclaimed that
Destruction
Oh my
Island.
God.
300 Pueblo attackers were
And the
killed
problem
during
again.
engagements around Santa
We didn't have to
Fe.
dick around like they did down here in the Southwest or with the Aztecs or the Inca. They dicked around by giving them golden gifts. And then they're wondering why they won't go away. You don't give invaders gold. You run their asses out of the village, you know, and you run them into the ocean. You don't give them golden gifts. That's not a warrior attitude. F for warrior. Don't give the invaders gold. They're going to come back. Then we have to take care of the problem, which we
Most
did.
of the missionaries were dead.
Uh-oh.
Settler communities had
See,
been destroyed
fire.
or abandoned. Little is known about life in New Mexico after the revolt. A testimony was given by an
It was a
Indian
10-year
man
party.
named Pedro
Yeah.
Naranjo.
Yeah, I know what happened.
Pope
We were
claimed
whooping
to
it
have
up for
received
10 years.
instructions from supernatural beings. Their names were given as Kadi, Tilimi, and Name. Naranjo stated that they emitted fire from their extremities and that Pope communicated with them to receive orders. Traditional ceremonies resumed openly. Ritual chambers that had been destroyed were rebuilt. Agricultural rites were conducted without concealment. The province remained
before
without
we're so
Spanish
rudely
presence for
interrupted.
more than a year. During this period, Spanish survivors at El Paso organized relief efforts and petitioned for reinforcements. Reports were sent to Mexico City describing
I'm an
the loss
asshole
of the
from El
province,
Paso.
the killing of the clergy, and the destruction of the missions.
We have
Oh,
fighting
no.
gems all over.
Eventually, Governor
this stuff.
Antonio de Oterman attempted to regain control of the province the following year. In November of 1681, he assembled a force, 146 Spanish soldiers, and roughly the same number of Allied native auxiliaries at El Paso del Norte. From there, the expedition marched north along the Rio Grande. The first pueblo they came upon had been abandoned. The mission churches had been destroyed, and the inhabitants had fled to the mountains or joined other pueblo groups. The soldiers discovered subterranean chambers divided into 4 sections. These chambers were filled with maize, much of it was spoiled. But inside these chambers were clay storage pots, and when they inspected inside the vessels, they found powdered herbs and 2 pieces of human flesh. These were offerings intended to guard the stored maize. This discovery reinforced, in their view, the accusation that idolatry and sorcery had resumed openly after their departure.
How do they know it was
Spaniards
2
viewed
pieces
this
of
as
human
satanic,
flesh?
and they burned the offering. The Pueblo
Conquerors can make up any lie they
was found
want, do
fortified
anything
and
they
well supplied with
please.
provisions.
Yeah.
On the following day, 56
They even had
soldiers were prepared for engagement.
the Boston
The
Tea
rebels
Party.
shouted from
Right.
elevated
They dressed up
positions.
like us and threw tea into the ocean so that we'd be blamed for it. They
Yeah.
believe
Leader
it's part
at
of
Cochiti,
American history.
at the moment
Part of
Blame
the-
the Indians.
Part of the great
Alonso
lie.
Yeah,
When
the
they
great
addressed
American
him in
lie.
Castilian, Cochiti
They lie
became
like an
emotional
American rug.
and replied that he had committed many sins and was condemned to hell.
Yeah, the Christian hell. You're gonna go to the Christian hell, don't do it.
He cometido muchos pecados
I'm
The
condemned.
crying
y estoy
Indian.
condenado al infierno. Dios es misericordioso, hijo. Aún hay camino para la paz. Por amor de Dios y de la Virgen, concedan la paz.
The chaplain that was present exhorted him spiritually,
Sell out.
reassuring him that he had been forgiven. Cochiti reportedly began to weep and begged that peace be granted for the love of God and the Virgin Mary. Peace was granted there temporarily. At the Pueblo Isleta, however, the expedition
Remember what you were
resisted.
talking about, Louis and
A
his
brief
letter?
fight took
Yeah.
place before
This
the
is what
Pueblo
happened to
surrendered.
these people. Watch.
Oderman occupied the settlement and began questioning prisoners in an attempt to determine who had organized the revolt. When asked who had led the uprising, the names that the captives were giving were not human leaders, but the names of Pueblo spiritual figures.
No fue un hombre. Fueron los espíritus que hablamos.
Smart Indian man.
These answers
Can't blame
frustrated
anyone
the
that way.
Spanish investigators. While Oderman remained in the region, the Pueblo communities prepared to resist again. The Spaniards began to suspect that the apparent submission at Isleta was temporary and that larger forces were assembling nearby. Facing the possibility of another confrontation, and with his animals already weakened by winter travel, Oderman decided to withdraw. On January 1st, 1682, he ordered the destruction of several pueblos encountered during the expedition and began to march south. The population of Isleta was removed and taken with the Spanish column to prevent them from rejoining the revolt.
And why they're
The
in El
expedition
That was
returned
the-
to El Paso del
The,
Norte
there's
in
the
the first
Isleta del
Spanish
Sur,
attempt to recover
and
New
then the
Mexico,
Isleta
ended
in
without success.
El Paso
Snow fell
area,
repeatedly during the
Texas.
retreat.
And there's
Many
some
horses
stupid
collapsed
natives that
and
are
were
saying
left
they aren't
behind,
native.
dying along
I
the
don't know
road.
who that not native
At the
person
same
that's
time,
making these
many
comments
horses
are. That's
abandoned
just the
or
most
captured
white
during
comment
the
you can
revolt
make
spread
about our own
outward.
people.
Spanish ranches and mission herds had contained
They aren't
substantial
native.
numbers of horses, cattle, sheep, and
Who are
goats.
we to judge?
Once the Spanish enforcement mechanism collapsed,
I
these
know Louis
animals became
Garcia.
accessible to Pueblo groups.
Oh yeah, he's
and through trade or
teaching
raiding to surrounding tribes.
There's no weaving.
Horse
Yes,
distributions
he's
expanded
amazing.
significantly
No,
during
dummy.
the
He's no
1680s,
administrator like
while
with me
some
that's
plains
No, he's a
producers already
teacher.
acquired horses
Oh,
earlier
that
in the
was
century.
that was
The revolt
actually
removed
just
Spanish
someone
restrictions
with
in
their
New
own
Mexico and
personal
accelerated the spread of
Tribal
equestrian
bullshit.
culture.
thoughts.
Say it for what it is. Tribal bullshit. Tribal discrimination. What we're talking
early
about.
18th
That's what
century,
it's called. That's why
Intertribal
we're behind, and that's why
discrimination.
we never could organize and unite. Because of
Comanche, who would later
intertribal
dominate large areas of the southern
discrimination.
plains,
Shame on
emerged as a
us.
mounted power in the decades following the revolt. Apache mobility also
Oh,
increased.
Apaches.
The rapid expansion of horse culture across the plains cannot be attributed solely to the Pueblo Revolt, but it absolutely accelerated it. That will be a topic for a future
Oh, yeah,
video.
they made a lot of
But
money
within
off
New
selling
Mexico
those
itself,
horses.
Pueblo communities continued agricultural production. For the remainder of the 1680s, there were no more attempts at Spanish reconquest of New Mexico.
I was gonna
More
say
than a
that
decade
hoe
after
is
the
Western
revolt,
technology.
Spanish
They,
authority did not extend beyond El Paso. Life in the Pueblos during these years were difficult. Crop failures occurred in some areas, and rain
They were caught up
increased. The surrounding
partially
groups took
into
advantage
that
of the weakened
other
regional balance
solar
of power.
storm.
Food
Oh.
shortages became common
There
in
was
several
one that happened during
communities.
the
Pueblo
Anasazi,
leaders also
Toho
had to
come
defend their
Anasazi
settlements
time,
against
Yeah.
raids
and
while
then one
maintaining
occurred during
agricultural
the
production.
Spanish era.
By the early
1499 from what I
1690s, some
remember.
Pueblo groups began reopening
And there was
contact
another
with
one
the
that was in
Spaniards.
16
According to
something,
Pueblo
or 15
traditions
something.
and later Spanish
I remember the
reports,
1499
delegations from several
one
communities
on your
traveled
Mayan
to El
chart.
Paso to negotiate.
That's what ended
The
us
discussions did not immediately restore
as a world
Spanish
power.
rule,
Was that
but they helped open
1499
the
one.
door for a new expedition. The decision to
We
return
went
to New
from
Mexico
owning the
also
entire
influenced
continent
broader strategic
to getting
concerns.
thrown into
Spanish
the
officials
closet
feared
and
the
locked
expansion of
into
French
a little
exploration
tiny
in the
room called a
Mississippi Valley,
reservation,
which
for what
threatened
used to be
Spain's
originally
northern
all
frontier.
ours.
They were also concerned
And then we
about
got
the
put
rise
into a
of
little
the
compartment
Apache
called a
and other nomadic
reservation.
groups that
And then they
continued
took
to
over
raid
the
New
entire
Mexico.
land
So
in the name of
1692,
civilization and all that
Governor
other
Diego de
nonsense.
Vargas
Yeah,
led a
colonial
new
bullshit.
expedition north. And unlike Oderman's
Just like this.
previous attempt at reconquest, Vargas advanced cautiously and emphasized negotiation. When he reached Santa Fe in September of 1692, he encountered about 1,000 Pueblo inhabitants. He only had 60 soldiers and 100 Indian auxiliaries, but he also had several small cannons. Vargas did not attempt an immediate assault. Instead, he offered clemency and protection if the inhabitants would accept Spanish authority and return to Christianity.
That's when we
After
rolled over.
negotiations, the town agreed to
We gave
submit.
up.
On September
Too
14,
easily gave up.
1692, Vargas formally proclaimed the restoration of Spanish rule in Santa Fe. Over the
But
following
also,
weeks, he
never
traveled
would
to
have
several
allowed
other
that. We
pueblos,
still have the
Fantasy.
iron map from the
Declaration
ship that when we
of
took it
submission.
apart, when
Over
we
the next
captured
few
the
years,
Spanish ship and
different
disassembled
rebellions
it,
would
we
rise
still
up,
have the
fade
insignia
away,
from the
and
ship
rise up
itself.
again.
My cousin
December
owns it.
1693,
Oh, is that
approximately 70
Larry?
Pueblo
Yeah, we
warriors
control
Larry
the
Ralston?
Spanish power
family
because we
members
have their
refused to
insignia from
allow
when we
Spaniards to reoccupy
won the
town.
war and
So
took
the Spanish
over.
attacked and took back the
We didn't
settlement
have this
in
ending,
force
you know.
after a short
We have
violent fight,
souvenirs.
which included combat on the rooftops. 70 defenders were executed on December 30th, 1693, and roughly 400 women and children were sentenced to 10 years of servitude and distributed among Spanish households.
Oh, yeah.
In 1696,
Rape
14
and
Pueblo
familial
communities organized
services.
another revolt.
Don't call it for
Several
what it
And
is.
free
It's,
labor.
30
the
settlers
human
were killed in
trafficking
renewed
of
fighting.
children. That's
Yeah.
really what it is. It's the
Going
same
on
thing the
since
Mormons were doing later.
1680.
The same thing
Attacking
Epstein and the
resisting
Mormons are
Pueblos
doing
and carrying
today.
out more executions. By the end of the 17th century, the last organized resistance had been suppressed. Spanish rule was reestablished across the region. Even so, the revolt permanently altered relations between the Spanish and Pueblo
Don't sign
communities.
it.
After the Reconquest,
Put your
colonial
thumbprint on it.
authorities granted formal land titles to many
Don't
Pueblos.
do it.
Franciscan missionaries
trick or
returned and
treaty.
never
Don't
again
do it.
attempted to
You're
impose
just gonna
religious
break it.
control with the same intensity seen before the revolt. But others moved, forming new alliances and seeking safer territory beyond the reach of the Spanish. One of the most remarkable examples of this
They melted in
migration
with the
occurred
Dene.
farther to the northeast on the Great Plains in what is now western Kansas. There, near present-day Scott County Lake, Pueblo refugees established a small settlement known as El Cortalejo
This
Pueblo.
is only
the
partially
furthest
true.
eastern Pueblo
In our
ever
global
recorded.
mapping
The settlement was
research,
created in the
this
late
location
17th
is an
century by
important
Pueblo people.
trade location to the southwest from the Plains Indians itself. That place just wasn't built. It was already there and established. They just, what would
The
you say,
future of home
rebuilt
shopping
it
is here, and it's
Yeah.
only on
from
homes.com.
its old ruins
Introducing
because it was a
Homes
traditional trading spot.
Who fled
all
New
along.
Mexico after the Spanish began their attempts
See?
to reconquer the province in the 1690s. The Jicarilla Apache groups
It's connected to the
that lived
Arkansas
near
River,
Scott
which
Lake
goes by the
accepted
Sparrow
them and
Mounds.
allowed them to stay as refugees. They offered protection and formed